Okay, let's make a start, inshallah. Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to day 2, inshallah, and today we will be going through the very first ayah of Surah Al-Hujurat. Just before we do start though, I do want to just mention one or two couple of things, and that's, first of all, for some of you, this may be the first ever thing that you're doing in terms of Tajweed. And I just want to give you that reassurance and just say, you know what, don't worry. You're not expected to get everything straight away. And like I said yesterday, you take what you can. Okay, you just take the things that come to you more naturally, more easily. And the things that seem a little bit daunting or a little bit challenging, you leave them. You don't take the pressure of trying to take on everything on board. Okay, so baby steps, inshallah. The other thing is, please, this is supposed to be a class that is as interactive. I mean, this is limited interactivity, right? Especially for those of you who have come in through the YouTube. But in the sense, what I mean is, I would like you, the only way that you improve your recitation is by reciting out loud. So even if you are listening in, find a quiet place, like we said yesterday, but recite with us. So as we are reciting, as the sisters, mashallah, are reciting with us, inshallah, please do try to recite so that you are audible to yourself, so you can hear yourself, okay? This is really, really important, because you don't really learn by listening. You learn by listening and then trying to actually apply what you've learned. And even when you are trying to apply it, you want to apply it not by whispering either. Okay, so you've got to actually be a little louder than a whisper. Okay, because there are some letters that, you know, they rely on the whispering sound, but some of them are very much dependent on the sound of your voice. And so you must be a slightly, you know, a louder volume than whispering, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for you. Of course, we start off and we remind ourselves of our intention about why we are doing this. We ask Allah to guide us. We ask Allah to aid us in this. Because and ultimately, you know, we also, you know, this is a chance to remind ourselves that your ability and you know, your capability of reciting the Quran is ultimately from Allah. Sometimes we take it upon ourselves and we think, oh, it's all on me, and it has to be something that I do, and I am in control, and if I don't get it, there's something wrong with me. There's not. It's just, you know, we know that Allah is all-knowing. He is as-Sami'ul Alim. He is also Al-Hakim. He, you know, he is the most wise, and he's, you know, in his wisdom, he chooses to give things at different times. Okay, for some it may come more easily, for some it may be a bit of a challenge, but all things in due time. You know, Allah has his reasons, and he, you know, he has great wisdom in the way that he chooses to do things, and we trust in that. So what is upon us is that we just try. We just carry on trying. We never give up, and we keep making dua, and we keep making istighfar. And whenever Allah knows that it is best, then we will be given that capability, inshallah. But don't give up and keep going. Okay, let's make a start, inshallah. So we're going to start with ayah number 1, and we will start with the isti'adha and the basmallah. So those sisters that are with me, if you would like to unmute yourselves, I will say the isti'adha, and then all of you who are at home, and all of the sisters here, you can recite after me, trying to remember the things that we pointed out on yesterday. Okay, so I will say it first, have a listen, that may jog your memory, inshallah, and then just repeat after me, and I'll wait, inshallah, for you to finish. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Okay, so remember yesterday we talked about the Hamza right at the beginning being a light letter. We start very relaxed and we say ah, right? So we don't want to be saying ah. So remember, we start off with a very relaxed ah, then move on to the ain. We'll do that one more time. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay. Right, let's have a look at the first ayah. So we have here Ya ayyuhalladhina. Right, the first thing I want you to notice with this first word is that we have this mud. Okay, this mud, according to the most popular way that people are reciting today, most of us are reciting via the riwayah of Hafs and Asim, and the tariq is Shatibiyya. It's normally stretched to about 4 or 5 counts. Okay, so this is one of those longer muds. So we don't say ya ayyu, we don't cut it short, we say ya ayyuha. We stretch it for 4 to 5 counts. And we got to also be careful that the ya here is a light letter. Okay, we don't want to be saying ya, for example, ya. Remember, when we say a fatha sound on a light letter, the tongue is completely flat inside and completely relaxed. There's no tensing, there's no pushing back, there's no lifting of the tongue, nothing of that sort. When we say any light letter that has a fatha, where we're pronouncing a sound, it's just a, ba, da, not a, ba, da, for example. Okay, so here we say ya ayyuha. If I can have Sister Farhat, would you like to join me in this? Ya ayyuha.
Ya ayyuha.
Mashallah. And if you notice, and Sister Farhat did this, mashallah, as you move from the next letter, which is Hamza, first of all, be careful that you don't squeeze for the Hamza. We don't want to change it into an Ain. Okay, so this comes from the bottom of the throat. Again, it's quite a relaxed letter in terms of there's no squeezing in the throat for this letter. Okay, it's A, I, U. Okay, A. But there is a sharpness to it. What you do after saying the mud and saying ya a, ya a. So you do the mud, and then you'll find that the hamza is sharp. What I don't want to hear is ya ya. Okay, you want ya a. That sharpness to the hamza. When you move from the hamza to the ya, there is kind of like a jump. Okay, I'm going to call it a jump for now. In Arabic, it's called a nabr. We apply here. We don't just say a. It's ayyuha, ya ayyuha. Okay. Notice the dhamma on the ya is ayyu. For the dhamma, we always circle the lips. Okay, it's always a oo sound. To make the oo sound, any letter, absolutely any letter, when it has a dhamma, we say oo and we circle the lips. Okay, so ya ayyuha. Sister Farhat, if you could do that one more time for me, please. Oh, I think she's got connection issues. Okay, Auntie Nasreen, would you like to help with that one? Ya ayyuha.
Ya ayyuha.
Not bad, mashallah. When you say ayyuha, try not to stop the sound in the middle. You want to keep the sound running. Even though you do like a little jump, the nabr, you say a, the sound shouldn't stop. So we don't say a and then stop. It's a. Keep it going. Ayyuha, ya ayyuha.
Ya ayyuha.
Not bad, not bad. Jazakumullahu khairan. And then we join the ha with the lam. Okay, so we move on to now the ha, the lam, all of these letters that are coming up next are all light letters. So there shouldn't be, for example, for this lam that we're joining with, we don't want to make it heavy and say Allah, for example, Allah. Some people would say Allah, Allah, right? For example, you want to say Allah, rhyming it with the ya. Ya ayyuhalladhina. Onto the screen.
Ya ayyuhalladhina.
Not bad. Jazakumullah khairan. We can be a little bit lighter with the noon at the end. Alladhina.
Alladhina.
That's a little bit better. Jazakumullahu khairan. Okay, then we have the next word here, which is amanu. With amanu, again, you'll notice that we have the hamza. The hamza, remember we said, is the relaxed letter that we're not squeezing for, because often a very common mistake is turning it into an ain, and that's because we're squeezing or we're going too high in the throat. Stay nice and low in the throat. Just like, for example, in English, when we say For example, when we say I am, we don't say I am, right? We say I am. It's nice and relaxed. Am. So in the same way, you say amanu, nice and relaxed. Meme is light here. Okay, so meme, we must remember to make it light. Again, common mistake, ama, right? We go into heavy mode. You don't want to be doing that. Ama, ama. Even though the hamza is 2 counts, the meme is 1 count. They still both are light letters. So they both rhyme in the sense that they both make a sound. Okay. Amanu. Auntie?
Amanu.
Good, alhamdulillah. Making sure that with the end is a nice, we need to complete the 2 counts. There is a mad waw with the noon. Amanu.
Amanu.
Yes. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu.
Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu.
Not bad. Jazakumullahu khairan. Okay, inshallah. I will now ask another sister. The next part we have La tuqaddimu. Here is our first time in this ayah that we're actually seeing a heavy letter, which is the qaf. Okay, we have to make the qaf heavy, but we've got to be careful not to make this ta before it heavy too. So often when people see a heavy letter, the danger is that the letter before or the letter after also becomes heavy, right? So you don't want to be doing that. And inshallah, one of these days, I will give you the list of the heavy letters for those of you that don't know. At the moment, when I say heavy letter, just assume that letter is heavy. It's just, I can't go over everything. Time is limited. So for now, the qaf is heavy. The ta before it is light. The letter after it is light too. Okay. So you start off with tu, tu. You've got your lips being circled for the dhamma. Whenever, remember we said whenever you have a letter with a dhamma, you always circle the lips. So here we say tu, tuqa, 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 tuqaddimu. Sister Salma, would you like to do this one?
Yes. Say it, لا تقدموا. Yeah.
لا تقدموا. Yes, please.
لا تقدموا.
Yes. Now the ta can be a little bit lighter. Tu, la, tu. So just how you say la, you've got a lightness to the la. Maintain that lightness even when you say tu. La tuqaddimu.
لا تقدموا.
Better. Good. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Moving on to the next word, we have, just one more thing with the la tuqaddimu. Also remember here again, just how we saw with amanu, we had the last letter, the noon was stretched for 2 counts because of the mad waw coming after it. Again, we see this happening again in tuqaddimu. You have the mad waw, therefore we're going to stretch the ending to 2 counts. Okay, so we say, yeah, Sister Salma, if you could say this one after me, we'll say it from the beginning. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا.
Not bad. آمنوا, just be careful. The meme was a little bit heavier than the hamza, so it's like ama, right? Ama. When you separate the lips, let the voice come out. Okay, ama, amanu.
آمنوا.
Yes, that's better. Jazakumullahu khairan. Okay, moving on. Let's go on to the next one. So we have the word bayna. Bayna. Now here again, these are all light letters, so there's no sort of ah kind of sounds in them. When we say the ba, the kind of common mistake that you may get with the ba here is that people will say ba. Okay, so we want to make sure that we pronounce ba as a light letter, just how we had ya, or we had ama in amanu. La was also light. Here we have ba. So we start with a ba. When you separate the lips, what you want to make sure you do is, as you separate the lips and open the mouth for the ba, the sound is coming out and you're pushing forward with the sound of your voice. Ba, ba. Also, what I want you to notice is with the ba, the lips do not go in. We don't go like this, ba, for example, okay? It's just there is a slight pressure on the lips as we separate. Ba, 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 bayna, bayna. With the ya, it's being joined with the ya. The ya is a letter that you can stay on for a bit, what we call rakhawa. Okay, so you don't need to rush and say baina, but you can keep the ya running for a bit. Baina, baina, baina. Sister Farhat, would you like to try that?
بين.
Yes, that was good. I like the ya, I like the ba. The noon could be a little bit lighter though. Baina.
بين.
Yeah, so what's happening is, you know, your tip of the tongue when it's going to the makhraj of the noon, when you're letting go, and you can do either one of two things. So the tip of the tongue goes up. So let me show you here. So we know that noon is produced by the tip of the tongue. Okay, so we're using this part of the tongue here. Okay, where is it going for the noon? The upper two front teeth. So this is the upper teeth. The upper teeth is going just where this. Now let me point with my pen because it makes it a little bit easier. It's going to touch this gum part here. Okay, there. This is where your tip of the tongue is touching for the noon. Okay, that's the first thing. So we know where now when your tongue lets go, so supposing my tongue is there and I'm going to let go and say na, na. Okay, when I do that, one of two things can happen. I can either let my sound come forwards and out through the mouth. Okay, push the sound forwards. Or as I let go of the tongue, the sound kind of stays in the mouth, okay? And it kind of drops back. So if it drops back, it sounds like bayna, bayna. But if I try to push it out, it'll be bayna, bayna. So as you let go of the noon, try to push the sound so it's coming out through the lips. Try that one more time, please, Sister Farhad.
بين.
Yes, mashallah. This was much better. Well done. And then if we go on to the next, mashallah, barakallah fiki. If we go on to the next word, yadayillah, we have here ya-da-yi. This last yi is what we have to be careful of. It's got the kasra. It's very easy to say yadaye. Okay. Now we know that the kasra always, or the zir, it makes an e sound, not an a sound. And I know that some of us from back, you know, with the languages that we speak at home, we don't sometimes make these sharp e sounds because they're just not in our language. We pronounce them as a, right? But when we are reciting Quran, of course, we've got to make that shift and that transition from our own mother tongue or the language that we're using at home to the recitation of the Quran and the language of the Quran. Okay, so here we say yada yi, not yada ye. And the ye sometimes is, I mean, it's very easy to say yeah, make it into a sound. Also because it's being joined with the lam. So sometimes what happens is because it's being joined to the next letter, we rush to the joining of the next letter and we don't give that attention to the e in the yi. Okay. So here we say yadayi, yadayi, yadayillahi, yadayillahi. As Sister Humera, if you could try this one, please.
Yadayillahi.
Let's try that again. Yadayillahi.
Yadayillahi.
Okay. Now, the only other thing I want you to think about here is the lam is like the isti'adha and the basmala that we saw yesterday, where the lam was light. When we said, for example, we said a'udhu billahi, or we said bismillahi. This lam is the same light lam. Yours is a little bit on the heavy side where you say yada yilla la. La, nice and light. So remember, when you let go of the tongue, let the sound come out. Yadayillahi.
Yadayillahi.
Not bad, not bad. It can be polished a little bit more, but inshallah with practice, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. And then we have the word wa rasuli. Here we have a light waw, a heavy ra, and then a light sin. Sorry, why am I doing an S? It's supposed to be L. Okay. So we have a light sin. Now the danger here is, first of all, sisters often will they start to get ready for the ra, they end up making the waw heavy too. So they'll say wara, right? You don't want to say wara, you want to say wara, wa. Complete the movement for the wa. So just how you say wa in isolation, you say wa, 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 your lips come out. Finish that. Don't just move a little bit and go were. The minute you start moving less, the wow sound will change. So finish the wow. Wa. Then go for the ra. Wa rasuli. Wa rasuli. Wa ra. When you're shifting back to the scene, again, you have to be very careful because you've just pronounced a heavy ra. Again, the danger is that if you're going to make the scene heavy, if you make the scene heavy, you'll actually change the letter. It will become a letter sad. How do you make sure the scene stays light? After you say that heavy ra, relax your tongue at the back. Because to say the heavy ra, your back of the tongue is going to be lifting a bit. It's going to be pushing back a little bit. So by the time you get to the scene, first of all, you want to relax the back of the tongue. Wa ra su su. And also, what really helps is when you finish the heavy ra and you say wa ra, don't just go wa ra and go straight for the scene from there. Start with su, su, su. So come back a little bit to the default position. Okay, don't start from the ra and say wa, ras, ras, ras. If you start doing that, ras, moving like that, it's not going to work. Wa ra, start from there. Su, su, wa rasuli. Baju Humara?
Wa rasuli.
So the wow and the scene, the ra is not too bad, mashallah. The wow and the scene can be lighter. Wa rasuli.
Wa rasuli.
Not bad. Now the scene can be lighter. The wow is better, the scene can be lighter still. Remember what I said about coming back to the default position. Wa rasuli.
Wa rasuli.
It's better. A little bit more polishing, but inshallah, stick with this for now. Inshallah, we'll keep working on the scene. Inshallah, jazakumullahu khairan. Let's try this ayah together. So if everybody can unmute yourselves, and we'll read this ayah together, inshallah. So I'll say it first, and then you repeat after me. And everybody at home, please repeat with me too. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا
يا
أيها الذين آمنوا
لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله
لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله.
Good, alhamdulillah. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Then we have the word wattaqullah. Now with this one, you've got the wow and the ta up until here, light. Watta, light letters, right? When you get to the qaf, it's heavy. So the qaf is heavy, and then the qaf is being joined with the lam. This time, the lam in the name of Allah is heavy. So far we've seen the name of Allah come a few times, and each time the lams have been light. This is the first time we're seeing the name of Allah where the lam is heavy. So in the Quran, sometimes with the name of Allah, depending on the situation, the lam could be heavy or light. In this case, it's heavy because it's preceded by a dhamma. All those times we saw the lam light, it was because the letter before it had a kasra. Bismillahi. Or we had a'udhu billahi. At the beginning of this ayah, we had yadayillahi. This time we have a dhamma before it. That's the reason why the lam is heavy. Here we say, wattaqullah. Onto the screen.
wattaqullah.
Yes, what I want you to do is the qaf is good. You've got a nice strong qaf. When you're joining with the lam and you're making the lam heavy, keep it heavy until you finish the mud. When you finish stretching the lam. So you say the lam with the fatha and the mud alif after it. Wattaqullah. So even the la bit is heavy too. Wattaqullah.
Wattaqullah.
It can be, so remember, auntie, once you're in the heavy mode for the qaf and you say qu, don't worry about moving away from and making it a bit light. So as soon as you go for the lam and you join with the lam, keep it heavy. Qul, Qul. How do you make it heavy? Remember the back of the tongue lifts a little bit and it pushes back, right? Wattaqu qul. Wattaqullah.
Wattaqullah.
Yes, and when you open your mouth for the name of Allah and you say Allah, I don't want you to open outwards. Don't spread your lips because sometimes that can lead to a lighter letter. So to keep it heavy, we open the jaw downwards. We say Allah.
Allah.
That's much better. Wattaqullah.
Wattaqullah.
Yes, just practice this, Auntie. It's just that movement, just to come down. Wattaqul, straight down. Wattaqullah.
Wattaqullah. Allah. Allah.
Try Allah on its own. Yes, Allah.
Allah.
Not bad. Alhamdulillah. We'll practice this, inshallah. It will come up many times. So inshallah, we'll come back to this. Then we have again, Inna Allah. Again, we have the name of Allah. And again, it's heavy. The lam in the name of Allah, both lams are heavy. Inna Allah. Try that, Auntie.
Inna Allah.
Yes. Try not to stop in the middle of the lam. Inna Allah. Don't cut the sound off. Inna Allah.
Inna Allah.
Jazakumullahu khairan. Sister Humaira, if you could do the next one for me. Sami'un.
Sami'un.
Good. So we have the sa, which is nice and light. We don't want to be saying sa. We have the mi, which is stretched for 2 counts. Sami'un. Sami'un.
Sami'un.
Not bad. Jazakumullahu khairan. And the final one, Sister Humaira. Alim.
Alim.
Good. And with the meme at the end, remember, don't press. I don't want to hear you letting go and saying alim, right? The meme is, because we're stopping and we're putting a sukoon on it, you go to the meme. It's again, just like we saw in the basmala, not too long, not too short, but you should hear it. Alim.
Alim.
That's better. Okay, let's try the whole thing, inshallah. Sister Salma, if you'd like to join me for the first part. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا
يا أيها الذين آمنوا
لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله
لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله.
Yes, that scene, just pay attention to that scene. Just try to make it a little bit lighter. ورسوله.
ورسوله.
Yes, so remember when I said start at the default position? Wara, not wara, su. Coming back to the default position will help you to relax the tongue at the back so that it's not getting involved. Warasuli.
Warasuli.
Little bit better, but inshallah, it'll keep coming up, inshallah, we'll keep practicing. Sister Farhat, if you'd like to do the last part with me. Wattaqullah.
Wattaqullah.
Inna Allaha sami'un alim.
Inna Allaha sami'un alim.
Jazakumullah khairan. Nice meme at the end. Jazakumullah khairan. Okay, inshallah, we will stop there. There's a lot to think about there. I hope you all just keep practicing, inshallah, and I will see you again tomorrow. Just to remind you, I am going to stop the stream. For those of you who are going to, inshallah, I hope all of you are going to continue and listen to the tafsir of this ayah with Sister Zuleika. I'm going to stop the stream, start it again, inshallah. You may have to just refresh your YouTube, or you may have to stop it and just restart it again, and it will come up, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.